Lord be with you. I am Pastor Philip Millian, and I'm coming to you from Southminster Presbyterian Church at 1923 East Broadway Road in Phoenix, Arizona. I hope you are doing well. You know, some of the most beloved scriptures in all of the Bible are the parables of Jesus. Now, it can certainly vary from person to person, but many scholars, biblical scholars, have suggested over the years that amongst the most popular of the parables are those of the prodigal son and the Good Samaritan. Jesus certainly knew how to take some particular situation in life and then condense it down into its most essential points and then turn it into some little pithy anecdote that was rich with symbolism and made people think about their intended place within God's kingdom. Most of you, of course, have read probably many, if not all, of Jesus's parables. But I would like for you to try to think about some of them and then think about their intended messages. You don't have to do that right this minute while you are watching me, but when you get off the computer, I would certainly like for you to do that. And when you think about those parables, did they surprise you? Could you completely understand them? Now, I will be the first to tell you that there are even many biblical scholars that cannot come to agreement on the exact meaning of all of the parables. There are some, several, a handful, but particularly probably about two, maybe three, that almost defy explanation, or at least a proper and agreed upon explanation. But as you think of them, did you find that your life is aligned with the message that Christ was giving us? Or did you possibly find yourself lacking in some way? Well, if you did, if you found yourself in some way lacking, join the club. All of us need to be reminded on a continual basis of how we need to rethink the purpose in our lives and how we conform to God's purpose for us in the values of God's kingdom. There's something else I want you to do. I would like you to do, again, when you turn off the computer, get your Bible, turn to the Gospel of Matthew, the 13th chapter, and verses 24 through 30. Read verses 24 through 30 and verses 36 through 43. After you read them, I want you to reflect on those verses a little bit. Think about them. Think about what Jesus is saying, but also think about, not in a generic everybody sort of sense, but I want you to think about what Christ is saying specifically to you. Take that seriously. Try doing that. Now, we all have to consider that our Christian faith, excuse me, is an ongoing journey. We're not there yet. We're not there at the point where God really wants us to eventually be. We are continually undergoing a theological process called sanctification, where we become more and more aligned to God's purpose as time goes by in our life. But again, think about that parable in the 13th chapter of Matthew, and then reflect upon it, and then ask yourself the question, do you want to be the wheat, or do you want to be the weeds? And if you read that part of the gospel truly seriously, and all of it, think about maybe, what if you don't want to be the wheat? And consider what Jesus has to say about that. Our lectionary readings for this Sunday come from Genesis chapter 28, verses 10 through 19a. That just means the first part of that verse 19. And also from the 13th chapter of the Gospel, verses 24 through 30 and verses 36 through 43. I hope you have a great week. I want you to be safe and be strong. May God bless you. Amen.